So it's that time again where we discuss systems coming out and are they good or are they bad? And what more of a bigger topic and possibly bigger flop is the PS5 Pro. This was released this morning through one of their PlayStation events. And let's just talk about it here as we go to see basically a comparison between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. First off, the full PS5 versus PS5 Pro spec comparison is one of the big topics that they were talking about. First off, the CPU is the same. It is AMD Ryzen Zen 2, which is 8 cores, 16 threads, and 3.5 GHz. And it's the same as the PS5 Slim and the PS5 Pro. So, not really off to a good start. Now, the big discussion was the GPU, which the GPU for the Slim is an AMD Radeon RDNA 2, which is a 10.8 teraflops ray tracking acceleration. For the PS5 Pro, it is unknown. Also, the info I'm getting on here is from GamesRadar.com, so if you want to take a look at them and read the whole article yourself, I'm not going to go through the whole article. I just want to talk about some points that really caught my attention and had me kind of look into this as to why PS5 Pro might be one of the worst things to purchase, even if you are a PlayStation fan. The RAM is the same, of 16 gig. GDDR6 at 448 gigabits per second, or gigabytes per second, sorry. The storage is the big one. There's another big one that they talked about, actually. Whereas the PS5 Slim storage is 825 gigabyte SSD. Whereas the Pro has a 2 terabyte SSD, which is massive, don't get me wrong. But the big one that's going to be one of the big side effects to this is that Activision games take up a lot of space, so that 2 terabyte SSD is probably going to go just like that. So you're probably still going to want to get some type of storage extender for your systems. The Wi-Fi is a 6 for the Slim and a 7 for the Pro. I'm not quite sure what that means. I guess it either is going to show off better Wi-Fi capability or takes more. I'm not quite sure. The outputs are the same, 4K, 120 HD, HDMI 2.1, but the PS5 Pro does support 8K. Now, that's only if you're going to get like the big 8K TVs, which are probably stupid expensive at this point. They're still going to be really expensive. I don't even know if people have them yet. We'll just go on Best Buy just to see. Clearance for $1,300, and it can easily go up to places like $3,000 and $6,500. So they are very, very expensive to get an 8K TV. I'm curious about the 4K TV. That's what's interesting to me. They're way cheaper. They're going for like $160, $220. So they're a lot cheaper to get a 4K TV versus the 8K, which they want a shit ton of money for. But of course, if you get the 8K TV, that's where you get the better quality. But we'll go over quality in a second. The dimensions aren't really big concerning, but the price is where it's really at. Now, it's mentioning the PS5 Slim and not the original or the disc drive system. That's because the PS5 Pro is discless, which is already a no for me. Because again, I still prefer my digital media. Go after me all you want. I've already made mentions about it. I'm not going to go over it here. But the big dropping point was the price. So for a PS5 is about $500, which now I'm realizing this is showing the price for the disc drive version and not the discless. which is where I usually hear more about the Slim. So it's a little bit incorrect on this article, but still, regardless. But the disc version usually is $500. The discless is $400 MSRP. They want to charge you $700 for a PS5 Pro, and this is it right here. This is your PS5 Pro. $700, which is ridiculous. I also went ahead and showed off some pictures of some of these differences. I know it's a little hard to tell, but basically, maybe if I do this, you might see a little bit better. But as you can see here, they kind of look the same to me. Now, one could argue a few things are a little bit blurry, like mainly the trees here and perhaps stuff going on in the background. But as you can see, this is not even the same spot. And you're expecting me to think that the PS5 Pro is going to be better? This is kind of like those who are saying the Switch OLED is going to be fantastic, when it's literally the same thing. The only difference is that the freaking name, from what I can recall. And then we go to this file here, and again, like it seems like the same thing. I think they try to confuse you because it's not in the same position. And like maybe you could see like the word, and it's even hard to see the wording, or if that even is words, if there are even words back here near this tower. But I just don't see why a lot of people are going to be hyping up the PS5 Pro. If they are going to hype this up, I'm pretty sure they're going to eventually include a disc version, which is probably going to be like $1,000 if the prices are going the way they are, which is ridiculous because I don't see a difference in the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. I also don't have $6,500 right now for an 8K TV. So it's just funny to me that this is how they hype up the PS5 Pro, by putting you in the wrong spot, as well as promoting 8K TV television purchases as well. So do I think this is going to flop? Probably. Especially for that price. It might go back to like the days of the 3DS where the MSRP for one was super expensive, so not a lot of consoles were purchased. So then they nerfed down the prices to make more sales, and eventually it worked out for them. They might have to do the same thing here with the PS5 Pro. What they could probably do is make the Pro $500, the discless version, and then have the disc version $6. But here's the thing that really does annoy me, is that they add that you can add in the disc accessory to the system. I'm like, at that point, you might as well have just started out with a disc version, or you could have done both, like one for disc and one for discless. Which right now this is discless. But I just don't think that this is going to go so well. There's already been negative flashback because of it, and I don't see a counter to this. So if you are someone who's like really into this, I don't know how you could, because it's so expensive and you're basically getting the same display. I mean, it could work. Don't get me wrong, it could work, but I don't see it happening. I was even talking to my girlfriend about it, who has a PS5, and she's like, I'll stick with mine. I even talked to my dad about it because he usually updates his systems. I said to him, I wouldn't really bother with the Pro here, because it's $700 and there's no disc. And it's basically the same thing. There was a comparison I had thought of, and I don't quite remember it. But I'm sure I'll think of something after the video has been made. But I know that this is going to be probably a weird spot. I think it said here when they're going to be released. Let's see. As of right now, I don't see a pre-order. Maybe if I go on PlayStation's actual website, they'll have a PS5 Pro release day. So on the 26th of September, pre-orders will be available directly from the PlayStation at direct.playstation, and then retailers in territories where the site is available. And then on the 10th of October, pre-orders will be available at the other retailers. So it's really up, like really trying to hype up the things that they were trying to hype up for the system, obviously. But it just seems like this is going to be a massive backfire, especially because it's $700 for it. And that's what I try to hype here too, is that you can get the accessories, but you have to purchase them separately, as what they're saying. And it says it here, it's going to be launching on November 7th. So, if you want to redo the scalping era, I mean, you could go for it, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of people going for this. You are going to get your people, of course. Do I condone scalping? Absolutely not. If you are a scalper, you are, to me, at least to me, you are considered a piece of shit. But I can't stop you if you want to buy one or two of these and then sell them and make money. But that's all I want to talk about. You guys be good and be nice in the comments. And I will also see you guys tomorrow night on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick.